and you'll be uploaded into the site. Okay, and that's going to have what your service is, what your certifications are, trade memberships, etc., and a description of what your company is. Okay.
And Jeff, this registration form will be ready within the next week or so, right? For them to start signing up?
Oh, it's ready now.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we'd like you to go as soon as you can, and we'll get it going. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is the application process. So, gone through selecting a vendor, and we're going to go back to the footprint, and we decide that now we want to start the financing process. Okay, so they hit find financing incentives for my projects, and this says I need to accept terms and conditions, so I'm going to accept it. I guess somebody already started this process. I'll accept the terms and conditions. What this does is, okay, so here's your application, okay? There's a fee for the application that the county's going to charge. It's not going to be the same as San Francisco. San Francisco's charging more. They're charging $300.
$125.
$25.
What are we charging?
$125.
$125.
So they'll go. So what we're doing here is we're bringing them through a process. They're going to start with the application. The application is going to have all their name and all the projects that they saved already on the application. They can change that application if they'd like. I could show you through that, bring you through that with another address if you'd like, but it's up to you. And then it'll ask you and keep bringing you through the process. Okay, you ready to commit? And you'll initiate the application fee, and then you'll start a communication process of uploading required documents from the program administrator, which include truth in lending documents, under notification documents, PFEs, the project financing estimates, those types of things. It's all tied in.
Will contractors have access, or would it be proper for them to ask the owner for access to the information on the assessment that they self-generated, just so that they know what the owner's expectations are?
Is that proper to you guys?
Let's see why not.
Well, do you know what I mean? Because we don't want there to be we want there to be an access, so that if there's something on there that might not seem correct to the contractor based on that particular unit or whatever, so that's going to have to be discussed in advance rather than as a change.
I would just encourage the potential participants to include you in this process, and that you have correct information based on what the property characteristics are.
So you're saying we can actually help them do their application?
You can help them do their application. You can make recommendations to them for projects based on your professional opinion and judgment. Ultimately, it's up to them for what they're applying for when they hit that submit button, because there's limited opportunities to change what that package is once we've approved it. Because once we approve an application, we set aside that funding specifically for the chosen contractor and participant.
Well, that'll be
So-
in the contract that I guess what I'm really asking is not so much when someone like Karen walks somebody through or it joins with them in the application process, but someone that's applied online and then turned around and gone through the marketplace to try to find contractors to do the work. I'm just concerned if there's an anomaly that wasn't represented, because there are that they're aware of it.
And they should be able to share those characteristics. But ultimately, all of those anomalies are going to be vetted through the bid process. We certainly encourage individuals on the site to be able to have multiple bids, to do their due diligence, et cetera. So it'll be important to point out anomalies, and that's where working with a participant to understand what their expectations were on the front end and how those are different from what might actually be seen at that particular location. Because ultimately those property characteristics are point-in-time characteristics. It represents what's officially in the books at the county or within the city, and it may not represent actually what's physically at that property.
So on the right-hand side here, you're seeing that we've already gone through and verified the eligibility, completed the form, the application form, gone through and accepted the terms, and now they're pay application fee. I'm not going to do that because I don't feel like paying a $300 fee right now. And then then after that, they'll go through application approval. And anyway, this communication continues through the whole process between the consumer and the program administrator.
And since it is mostly an online, or I guess you said it could be paper or online, so they can pay their application fee by a check, or does it have to be credit card through the online?
It can be
It's
either.
both.
Either, okay.
We're encouraging to be able to pay online, but you can certainly bring us cash, you can bring us a check.
So you can physically bring in a paper app as well?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Okay.
And the paper app will be loaded by whoever's managing the storefront onto the system. And so an individual could go on, and even if they didn't initiate with a paper application, they could go and see what the status of their application is by going online.
And it will be faster ultimately to fill out the application online. It's already in the system. But we have a way to get those paper applications into the system fairly quickly. We want to be able to process people through as quickly as we can to minimize the time that it takes from the beginning to when it's on the assessment roll, because that's when the interest begins to accrue. And we also want to minimize the time between that agreement between the contractor and the participant so that we can ensure that the contractors are paid as fast as we can as well. So.
And so at the storefront, there'll be also a computer where, while we're all learning, maybe we
Yes.
can just go down together and...
Absolutely. There will be staff, and we'll be able to take a walk-in, and basically we'll just do what the applicant is doing online, go through that intake process in the storefront.
Okay.
Or bring in a paper
Field trip.
application and
Yeah.
go
So
through it.
is the loan going to be paid in vouchers, or is the customer going to get, here's your lump sum of cash and pay when you want?
Customer's going to get a lump sum cash to pay for the services that have been provided by the contractors.
Do they get this loan before they decide which contractor they're going to use?
No, the contractual assessment is placed after the work has been done. It has to be, it has to
The
go
financing
through.
isn't released until the work is done, so and that means
Okay.
we already have it contracted.
Okay.
No,
And Mike will talk a little bit about how the building officials play into that in terms of final sign-off and how that triggers the actual release of the payment.
Yeah, maybe we should just continue a little bit, some of this will get answered as we go along.
Yeah, I'm done. I guess, the other thing that this is doing is, when we did an evaluation with Sonoma, beyond helping the consumer, it's also helping program administrators to keep their time and effort down so they can have a sustainable system. And the application process for Sonoma at the beginning was 10 or 11 hours process. And as they automate the process, and you can knock that down. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but to 2.5, 3 hours per application.
What's the equity ratio figured?
It's 10 to 1.
It's 10 to 1.
Well, I understand 10 to 1, 10 to 1 based on you guys, there's no appraisal required, right?
No.
It's
County
the
has
assessed
just
value.
assessed it.
So it's off the assessed values?
Yeah, off the-
It's off your taxes,
Yeah.
the taxes of the property.
So it's assessed
Assessed
value?
It's the assessed value.
no,
It won't trigger a reappraisal unless there's a substantial addition.
No, I was just trying to figure out, I was leveraged all the way up to
Right.
what the property value is.
They won't be allowed to, they won't be encouraged to apply. They will not.
There's one of the 19-point strict underwriting criteria to not allow anybody who's basically not able to handle that kind of financing to enter the program.
How many homes are there here that fall in this category of businesses? I don't think we did a business assessment, did we?
We generally, on the feasibility study, focus on the residential piece, and there's 150,000 residential properties in the county, half of which are property, are owner-occupied properties. About 24,000 of those are pre-Title 24, meaning that there's a lot of work to be done on them.
And how many of those do we know are fully owned? Do we have that?
Of those that are pre-Title 24?
Yeah.
I don't have that number offhand. But, if you assume the same proportion, about half.
now I have a question about the way the payment's going to be, because I heard you say monthly payments, but
That's
is the
exactly what
tax-
I was going to talk about mine. So let's just interactively start me. Because I'm concerned about our contracts reflecting the payment schedule of the county. That's why I kind of asked about having a standardized contract. If you think that's wise, we can do that ourselves through our own legal counsel. But
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I meant